Hello and welcome to the second episode of C Positive News. Good news in bad times. While reading newspapers was a luxury at times, today it's a luxury again because people don't want to drop newspapers to our apartment. However, I am facing another problem today. I read somewhere that Anand Mahindra has tweeted that he's going to take a haircut on his salary so that he can help fight this response to the COVID pandemic. While I need to discuss about a haircut on salary with me, myself, and my employees, I'm thinking of how to take a regular haircut. I called my barber Hassan today, and Hassan said, "Sorry, sir, the shop's closed. All the scissors and implements are inside the shop. I can't help you." And I said, "How do I get a haircut?" And then I realized I have my dear wife to help me. She can give me a haircut. I mean, she would love to get a knife or a scissor next to me. And how to use a newspaper like this in times like this? Well, the newspaper can also become like a gown for you, and you can wear it around yourself and relax and get a nice haircut. I want the sides nicely trimmed, please. Welcome back. That was quite a hair rising or a hair splitting experience, if you can imagine what I went through. I'm all intact, my hair is good, and we can move on to the next topic of the day. We told you yesterday about how the case day to day growth rates were looking like in other countries as well as in India, and we took the example of China and Italy. Today, we've got an interesting presentation and an interesting guest for you. The presentation we are looking at today actually is we are saying we are looking at the positivity rates of the tests that are being conducted. We've been hearing that India is not testing enough. Today ICMR has put out data that it has completed nearly 23,000 tests, and we thought this is the right time for us to look at the test data and see what it compares across various countries. So if you look at the test data, it's very interesting, and I'll introduce my guest after this. But the test data, when I took the example of countries which had completed near about 23,000 tests or a little bit more, and if you look at the data, you will find, if I look at Italy and India at the two ends as examples, at around the similar number of tests, Italy had about 2,064 positive cases, whereas India has about 562 positive cases. And there is an interesting story that was developing in the UK, which we'll discuss with our guest a little later, as well as in Vietnam. But if you look at this data, you will find that around 25,000 tests, this is India has a case positivity rate, that is the number of tests which are proving to be positive for COVID-19 is around 2.5%. So to understand this data better and what it means, I take great pleasure in inviting Dr. Santosha Kelamane. Dr. Santosha Kelamane is a microbiologist by training. He has worked as an infection control specialist, a laboratory specialist. He's been with the WHO country office previously, working as a national consultant. Welcome, Dr. Santosha, to Positive News, where good news in bad times.
Thank you, Dr. Anand Lakshman. Thank you for inviting me for this initiative. Thank you again for your noble initiative. Your initiative will really give the right information to the right people all the time.
Let me take you through the data, Dr. Santosha, and I want a question answer mode. Let's take this. So I was sharing the data with you. What is your view? Around 25,000 tests. Italy had about 2,000 odd positive cases. India has about 562, and we'll come to the conundrum of UK a little later. But it seems from the data from France as well as Italy as well as Austria and India seems to be our lower positivity rate when we are at around 23,000 tests. Like, what do you think?
Yes, this is very interesting to see Italy at this point of time when they tested 23,000 and odd cases. Their positivity rate was 8.8%. However, as on today, we in India tested more than 22,000 plus cases and only 562 cases identified with a positivity rate of 2.5%. This clearly says the Italy, when this many tests happened, it has already infection spread across the community and community spreads were there. And in India, as of now, like the data says that even with the stringent criteria, testing criteria, that this positivity rate is low. That means, and even SARI cases and other pneumonia cases are included in the testing criteria, and even then the test this positivity rate is comparatively less.
Just pause for a second here. For the lay public, Dr. Santosha, when you say strict testing criteria, right? A week back, ICMR had conducted less than 8,000-9,000 tests. We were testing only foreign returned symptomatic patients, and really we were expecting that a large number of them would be positive for COVID-19. But the data on 23,000 is suggesting even among them, somehow it seems that the positivity rate is lower than in many other countries.
Yeah, this is quite interesting. Like, see, even after expanding the horizon of this testing and testing criteria, the positivity rate did not increase substantially. This says, like, the community spread is not happening as of now, number one. Number two, India has taken the interventions, early interventions at right point of time, that is closing the border and isolating the this suspects and going to the community. This is what happened. This is my opinion in this way.
Yeah, and let's look at the interesting case of UK. UK around the same time had even lower number of cases than India, but when they did the next 60,000 tests, their case positivity rate zooms up to about 8.6% from somewhere around 1.2%. Explain that to us. Like, does it mean India also next 60,000 tests we could go up to about 8.5% case positivity rate?
Not really, not really. Like, the reason is, like, here my interpretation is, at that point of time, their positivity rate on 9th March, they had only 278 cases out of 23,513 cases, 13 suspects. That means only 1.2% of positivity rate. But suddenly it jumped up to, like, 24th March, jumped up to 8.9%. Like, in this 20 days, they had a community transmission, and the interventions what they have taken might not have helped them. Now, in our case, definitely, like, we closed the borders, the lockdown happened, and a lot of awareness programs happened, and PM himself has given a call to the nation to observe 14 hours of lockdown and physical distancing. That definitely may help us.
Yeah. But the word of caution is we should continue to practice this total lockdown, because we need to be absolutely sure the case rates are not going up like in UK, right?
Yes, yes. This is the need of the hour. Like, anyways, they have already, like, done right now. Like, if the citizens of India strictly practice physical distancing and other added measures, like IPC measures, definitely there's a chance of reduction in case notification case, and again the death rate also.
And the other country which is very significant there is Vietnam. 15,000 odd tests and very few positives. Yes. Like Vietnam, what do you think? Because they were not also that, were they aggressive in their testing?
Their testing strategy we have to see, but the thing is, they are see, one more thing is that their number of imported cases also we have to look into. The number of imported cases are much more less. That's the reason they are having the less local transmission. Definitely in Vietnam there is no community transmission as of now with this data.
And I have not included Korea in this graph specifically because their testing strategy is so different. It won't make sense to interpret it, right?
Yes. True. That is, their testing strategy is very different, and they tested maximum number of people, and their positivity rate is comparatively less, and even their death rate also comparatively less. We can't compare their strategy with other countries' strategy.
But with ICMR saying we can do 8 to 10,000 tests a day, probably in 10 days' time we can start looking at more than 1 lakh tests and then start looking at whether the data is matching. Of course, the testing criteria also has to change for ICMR, right? Right now, ICMR is
Yes, yes.
just expanded it a bit, the testing criteria.
Yes, yes, right. Like one thing is, even if ICMR expand their testing criteria, ICMR and private enrolled private laboratories also, they are in India is ready to like test at least 10,000 cases per day and all. But we are ready. But what I personally feel is like with this lockdown and other interventions taken by Government of India, definitely the case load will be not as expected as Italy and France or UK.
So we will keep a close watch over the next 10 days on the positivity rate. That is how many tests ICMR are doing and how many positives are coming on a daily basis, and keep reporting on that in the next few days. But as of now, the news looks good.
Yes. Now, fingers crossed. Now, I personally hope there will be definitely with this interventions, definitely there's a lot of improvements, and in next 2 weeks are very crucial. Maybe there will be a surge, but later definitely we can go to as China model, less than 5% it may go up later.
Sure. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, keep all the precautions in place. We are not saying all is good yet. We're just pointing to some indication of some things looking a little better.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you very much, Dr. Santosha, for joining us on this program. Thank you very much and hope to see you back maybe next week.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Dr. Anand Lakshman. Keep continuing. I'm happy to contribute to your program. It's really wonderful. So nice of you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Keep continuing.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Bye.
That was Dr. Santosha explaining to us how the positivity rates on the testing, now that ICMR has tested nearly 23,000 samples, are looking when we compare across countries. Early days yet, but some news which is good, and let's keep tracking that closely. On other news that's coming in today, business. The sensex has gone up by 6% and gone up by about 1861 points. The sensex and the Nifty have both gone up by about 6 percentage points. We're talking about infection rates or the positivity rates being lower, but the positivity rate on the sensex seems to be going up a bit. And this is reflective of some of the steps that India has taken, as well as the economic stimulus that is being provided, etc. So the market's factoring in all of that, and you can see that in the fact that some of the broad stocks, the Sensex stocks, have recovered and have posted some gains. More news to follow on C Positive News. Keep watching our channel. Subscribe to our channel. We'll keep posting more videos. Real, scientific, authentic, yet positive news during bad times. C Positive News comes to you every day. Thank you very much. See you next time.